However, I don't think it's gonna be enough for Incontrol to really try and force anything out of their pockets. So they're gonna have to settle with mostly pistols, of course. Mason and Fiend, who did manage to get a little something extra for themselves, are gonna be perhaps feeling a little bit more comfortable, but not too much, I have to say. Seems like this time around, Revenge Nation are setting up for success towards A, which they might as well already go and take. However, they're going to be welcomed by whatever little util Incontrol have in the form of that smoke, of course. Nice and setting up the curtain. Make sure that there is a way across right there, or the way across, it's not as easy as perhaps we were expecting. Fiend looking like a demon himself. Gonna find himself the first frag. Evan gonna be out off sight for just a little bit longer than perhaps he was expecting. Not like he is gonna be feeling too sorry about that one. After all, already peeking 2 frags in the first starting round of this map number 1, Anubis. Getting off to something good here for Revenge Nation. However, Incontrol have managed to weather the storm and burn quite a bit of time in the process.
Yeah, we're a little bit less than 30 seconds left on the clock right here. I really like the way that they're taking their time, not really giving away any information within their realm of possibilities. However, yep, it seems like the execution is now going to be towards the B site. We see Taven get the kill, though, on Fiend, and now both Tyra and Mason lost, able to finally make his way inside. And not only that, but take a kill on Mason as well. However, Horizon, on the other hand, just one player left alive right here, and I think that, yes, Loss has to go in right here and make sure he has the offensive positioning, and that's exactly what's going to give them the ability to claim that kill. And it was really a lot of usage of utility within that last round that we saw Revenge Nation go in and exploit coming in from Incontrol, because of the fact that they didn't have much to work off of, right? And even though we saw very, very good positioning coming in from Incontrol that really led them towards a situation where it was difficult for them within the 1v1, in the end it was just the differential of firepower. But I mean, regardless, we did see them going with the buy, so what could have been a bonus round is now going to be a bit of a perilous one rather than anything else right here coming in from Incontrol, because they did buy, Roy. Remind you, and when we see Magic go in, gets a kill on Tyra, Horizon really closes down Feltner. And now it's once again a 3v5 situation, but now the curtains are, I mean, the tides have changed, and now the tables have turned, and it's in the favor of Revenge Nation. We see a couple of shots that whiff towards the end right there, Roy, but the positioning right now that Revenge Nation has, not really wanting to give up mid or anything like that to avoid any sort of like flanking situation, is really going to give them a lot of benefit, like we're seeing right here.
Oh, Dylan, looking very effective. However, the Revenge Nation are still closing in on the frags, are going to be closing in on the rest of that round like it's nobody's business. And of course, you see it on the screen. We're going to talk about it plenty of times. And that giveaway that our friends at Hellcase have got going on. So check out the deets in the description. They should be. And you know what y'all have to do in case you haven't claimed a chance to participate. And if not, well, we also have a little something extra, so you may have to stick around for that one. Finally, like you said, Incontrol, they make the slightest of expenses in their second round, and unfortunately, it doesn't quite go their way. Oh, Horizon catching Dylan off guard right there. Not really the position that they wanted to find themselves in, and now this is going to severely weaken the ability that Incontrol have. Really put pressure on the map with their numbers, not the way that they want to open things up, and Taven is making sure that that continues to flow in the exact same way. Revenge Nation, like a well-oiled machine here at the start of Anubis. We did say that the numbers were comparable, right? The statistics are there for show. However, you gotta do more than just show those numbers. You actually have to show up when it's time to play, and well, at the very least for starters, Revenge Nation have done a much better job at getting that initial frag, and then making sure that they hurt In Control where they live.
I really like how Revenge Nation is taking things very, very slow, right? And it's simply
Yeah.
because of the fact that they do not want to give any sort of leadway for In Control to try to maybe go in for a retake or simply cut them off, cut them from the bud immediately after they go in and get a couple of kills, right? So it's if I do have to put a name on it, I think it's a bit of a respectful act, the one that Revenge Nation is putting up for In Control, saying like, you know what, we respect you for your skill level right here. We know that you're good, but I mean, in the end, we still want to win this, which is why we're taking this very, very slow. We see Evan, you know, overextend a little bit right there. Ooh, Felder goes down within the hands of Lost. And that's going to be a rough one, too. However, we did not see the loss right here coming in from Fiend. So, I mean, that AWP is still going to be in great, great hands. And, you know, for a fact that it's not... These AWPs are really, really going to have something to do right there. And, I mean, he does go down. In the end, it doesn't seem like he noticed that it was going to happen until it was a bit too late. Really nothing much left for him to do. And yeah, I mean, they were still able to pick up that AWP, but I mean, could have been something that they could have saved up for a better day.
Yeah, I mean, a little bit of extra expenses here for Revenge Nation, but so far, so good. Whatever little weaponry In Control managed to save, though, should come in handy. We've seen them. They're great at picking and choosing their spots whenever they are down in weaponry. For the time being, though, looks like Magic is going to be the first one. It was looking like it. However, like I said, In Control looking clean when it comes down to make sure that they make the most out of a seemingly terrible situation there. Mason barely escaping with his life. The onlookers towards the gate are just going to tail it to the other end. And this bomb is still in a flexible enough position to make it all the way back. Seems like right there. Even gonna set up the smoke towards connector. Gonna make it all the way across just to make sure that nobody's snooping around towards boat. And they, of course, are gonna leave somebody posted all the way up there. That is gonna be Horizon. The rest of Revenge Nation working towards a path to victory through mid. Let's see if they are successful or not, of course. Is positioned to the other end, and it looks like whatever Magic couldn't finish, Evan will, but Dylan is right there. Oh my goodness, this was getting bloody. However, Lost anticipating the approach from Tyra, not only dealing with Dylan, and even still, though, things are still getting complicated here. It seems like In Control have managed to slow down this just enough. Where's the issue? And there is not that much time left, let me tell you. And indeed, there is no longer any time left here for Revenge Nation to do much more. However, it was about getting the frag, and Fiend, of course, he was tailing it out of there as soon as he could. Beautifully played by In Control. Like I mentioned, just little by little chipping away at them and just being able to make sure that they can burn as much time as they can. If the Revenge Nation are playing this one slowly, then we are going to make sure to also drain down the clock, and that last approach towards the bomb site whenever they were already, well, pretty much forced to approach recklessly. I mean, it was all said and done at that point.
So you saw that kill that Feltner got against Tabin with the Deagle, right?
Yeah,
and where he was the one that actually, you know, played that super well. Oh my God, Tabin goes in and gets the immediate refrag. Says, you know what, I want my vengeance, big bro. But that kill was super crucial, and we actually saw Lost let that slip by, and that's what really gave In Control the opportunity, because he was able to pick an AK-47 up, and not only that, but take the kill on the planter when he least expected it. So that kill right there mattered the most.
Who was Lost too, by the way.
Yeah, as well. It was lost too. So that's definitely going to be rough. We see Horizon get the kill on Dylan, and then Tyra immediately gets a refrag right there. Evan says, you know what, Mason, you're playing a little bit too reckless over here within middle, and that's going to cost you. And speaking of costing, I mean, if you're going to give it to a man right here, it's definitely going to be Lost, the one who goes in and gets that final kill. Incontrol, definitely struggling right here within the CT side of Anubis. And this is what I was talking about previously about Incontrol, you know, just de-rusting, right? They haven't had the best showcase of just overall victories here within Anubis. While as they have had a good record of being able to win on them, they've also had some very, very difficult losses, like 13-1 against M80 within the previous season, right? And while they have gotten very, very good victories, 13-6, I really don't think it's something that can be replicated or attributed more so to the fact that they know this map, right? We see Dylan go and get the kill right here against Taven, so that's no more AWP for them. And Incontrol really playing towards their namesake, making sure that they're the ones that currently have really, really a good grasp over the situation at hand, causing Revenge Nation to hesitate a little bit. And you can see it from how they're playing. They're playing, they are playing coordinated, but they're playing hesitant. They're playing a little bit more back until they're about to attack right here, which is going to make their way towards the site, the entry. Are we going to see the utility flyby here by Evan? All there is a smoke, a molly, and that's exactly what's going to be thrown out.
Nice.
A lot of flushes right there. Yup, and it's going to push them back so they have a free plant towards the side, basically forcing Incontrol to play for a retake. And retakes sometimes can go within the favor of the players within the numbers, especially as a good team that one that we have with which is Incontrol. We're going to see Revenge Nation going right there. We see the flash dodge rather than anything spot dodge. Jesus Christ. Not that I say this much. Anyways, we see Horizon go in. Oh my god, everybody goes in, gets those kills. Mason puts Horizon down. Last player left alive is going to be Evan. That molly's going to be rough, and in the end, it's even rougher because Feltner really placed and played that really well, making sure that all options were covered. And if Evan had committed to it, he had to go in and either burn to a crisp or leave that area very, very hurt.
Just Feltner was, I believe, 0-3 at the start for a couple of rounds. He wasn't having much success, and of course he's had more L's than W's in the fragger department, but nonetheless trying to pick up the pace. Tara trying to do much of the same as, of course, Incontrol find themselves slacking in that avenue for the time being, whereas Revenge Nation, even though they're thriving and still ahead by a little bit, they could still let this one slip through their fingers. Attack pause here from Revenge Nation, as they know after full execution, I mean, this is not how things are supposed to be going. And Incontrol almost making it look easy in certain instances. Of course, easier said than done, I have to mention. But nonetheless, the fact that Incontrol are able to bounce back and the grit that they show whenever their backs are pushed against the wall, I think it really goes to show the type of mentality that perhaps they're bringing to the table. And it's not looking like a defeat is one. However, they're gonna need their technical skill on the keyboard to also rise to the occasion to what their mental may bring forth. And so, with that being said, now it's time for Revenge Nation to see if they can pick up the pace a little bit more. So far, every single time they try to slow down things a little bit, but Jace Feldner gonna deal in a ton of damage, as Lost and Taven have already fallen to the ground. Unfortunately, there for Revenge Nation, they try to make an aggressive, bold call, and Incontrol, they do not let that fly by.
Not at all. Yup, and we're going to see the shots being fired off right there. Dylan able to get the kill right there on Horizon, and it really just was a bit of a issue with his crosshair placement, right? Just that aim that unfortunately didn't work well too much for him. Fiend able to move the moment that he sees or hears anybody even try to approach right here. But this is mid control that they're relinquishing, so this could end up biting them a little bit in their positioning. Doesn't seem like it's
I see
going
you.
to work.
I see you, Dia.
It doesn't seem like it's going to work out, though. I'm going to be real with you. Oh, that's exactly what was needed. We see Magic go in, get the kill on Dylan. And this is what I was talking about, biting in within the positioning, if not just to say somewhere else, because this really, that mid control really, really let off a lot of pressure that Revenge was feeling within this map.
Oh, that could have been a tough approach, but that should be enough of a cue here for Tyra to try and make a move in. But Evan now finding himself in a more defending position. Mason gonna be right there. They could both fall victims, and yes, at the very least, one of them will. Mason gonna have to settle with the refrag as expected. Magic though, blocking one avenue of approach, but Mason once again delivering in the pain towards their opponents. And that means yet another retake of Revenge Nation. I mean, they are so good at getting into side, and well, I have to say also perhaps virtue of the map too. But they've been fumbling the bag a little bit, I have to say, of course. Again, not to play the critic too much, right? But just it could become a little bit of a trend. And Dio, you talked about the competitive mentality, and I think, well, mental fortitude is so important whenever you're facing this type of strides. I mean, this is for qualification after all, right? Like, you are trying to make it into the next stage, and just don't fall to a 2-2 record. So perhaps a little bit of the pressure of the situation could be getting to either of these teams' heads in due time. Though Incontrol, they seem to remain cool as cucumbers for the time being. And Revenge Nation, well, they're going to have to wait out to close it just a little bit longer with those Tech 9s. They are not looking to do much more. However, as soon as I say that Evan manages to find a single frag, Horizon is not going to be the only one. Magic going to join the tally as well. And finally, they make a swift push, and it is going to work wonders for them, be completely under their control. However, there's somebody fiending around the sports. Let me tell you something, and he's also not alone.
Yep, and it seems like the shot is going to be fired, and Fiend is going to send Lost directly to hell right there. And yep, this is going to be a very, very difficult attempt of a retake situation. We see the shots being fired off. Where's the last player? We see him right there. And even though we saw the coverage coming in from Horizon to get the bomb planter, I mean, in the end, Dylan was very ready in order to be able to cover up for him. And in good time, too, because Fiend was going to die to one more bullet wherever he hit him, regardless if it was a headshot or not. So that was a really, really good play. And in the end, I mean, they had the perfect take, and I just think that it was a bit weird right there. I mean, we saw Tyra. We saw that Lost actually hit his teammate for a good amount of damage, and that's really what ended up causing the problem within that round in the end. We're going to see a tactical pause now actually coming in from Incontrol. So I don't think it's something that has to do with more so tactics, but more so the WC or something like that, right? Because yesterday we actually saw somebody that was having, you know, a bit of an IRL issue coming in from, who was it? Don't tell me. I remember. No, I don't. I'll have to check that out. It's Danoko. Yeah, Esholos Laser. Yes, I do. I do remember. Don't doubt me. It was Esholos Laser. Danoko was actually, well, what it seemed like was Danoko was having IRL issues, and that's all that they said. But we noticed, we had the idea that it was him because of the fact that, well, we saw him underperform within Anubis, exactly. And then whenever those IRL issues started to resolve, we saw a completely different Danoko that ended up giving Esholos Laser the victory right there. So I think that right now Incontrol is playing this very, very well. It seems like they have a little bit more of a better understanding of what they have to do in order to make sure Revenge Nation doesn't place the foot on the door that really leads them towards a victory or something like that. Just look at this. Speaking of which, once again, Fiend with the double round kill right here on Lost, and this is just so rough for him. Like, he has not been able to play much at all. Even though Mason, right, he was covered within the smoke, he did not want to deal with that molly, simply because that indicates that somebody was coming up close. And look at this, Mason going in with the spray and pray, able to get that kill on Horizon. Is he gonna see the player? Yes, he does, but Evan unable to close those kills out. But now, once again, Middle has been relinquished towards the T side. However, Roy, this is a different story because look at the numbers. Look at where they want to strike. It's
Yeah.
not within the favor of Revenge Nation. It's actually in favor of In Control. And middle can be very important side, or rather an area to take. Not really too good if if they decide to approach you in a pincer movement.
I mean, burning so much time right here in Control. Not letting anybody exposed towards connector either. However, seems like Evan was already on the move. The smoke is timely right there, but Tyra is not only timely, but precise to Jace Feldner with a very uncomfortable angle for their opponents to deal with, and In Control looking to be on the absolute takeover. They are doing this on their city rounds, mind you, and yes, Revenge Nation, they've been fairly successful at making it in, and at the very least, getting that C4 to go ticking for a quick second. However, holding it has been a very different story. And, well, that lead that they once held has now completely escaped them, and not only that, it seems like money went with it too. So, this is gonna be mostly Tech Nice right around the corner. But it seems like Revenge Nation are feeling a little bit light on their feet, not only in their hands. Callout is right there, though, as Mason is not only going to be dealing with a little bit of a flash, but also going to be setting up the rest of the team with tons and tons of damage. Even one frag as well, I do believe. So this plan has been completely foiled here by Revenge Nation. Sorry, for Revenge Nation. I mean, the boys in blue are looking to take in a different stride. Perhaps there was somebody that was having some issues. You know what I'm saying? Like you talked about. Do you remember there was a player that had to feed his cat or something once? I mean,
Yeah.
we've seen some stuff. That's all I'm gonna say. I mean, sometimes maybe somebody's nose was itchy all along. You know. Yeah, it happens. It happens. Or maybe, I mean, I don't know. You're getting cold for dinner or something. I'm not gonna speculate into what went on. However, while we are just rambling around, it seems like In Control we're completely rocking Revenge Nation. Of course, I think that whenever they have found themselves to be with rapid fire in their hands, whether it's in force, we've seen it with the AKs too. I mean, In Control are just so confident in taking the challenges. They just welcome it, like, straight up. Like, for example, we saw Dylan earlier on towards connector, like, right? Like, you have to hit the two-piece. It's, like, no big deal. Even if I'm getting hurt, if I'm already tagged up, like, it is not a big deal. I got you, Chief. So, for the meantime, though, the HGs are gonna light Mason up. That boy does not have that much health left, let me tell ya. And Revenge Nation looking for perhaps a bit of a change of pace, but we'll see if the CTs give it to them.
Let's see if that's the case, because right now, Mason completely tagged can be a bit of a game breaker for them. At least if Revenge Nation really wants specifically that. I mean, if I'm gonna be real with you, the one who wants that kill is definitely going to be Magic with the MAC-10. The execute is now going to be towards the A side, and look at how the only players that move forward from this position are the players right there within the other side, because right now, yeah, the two players within mid, like, they had to go in and get those frags as soon as possible. And this positioning right now that Revenge Nation has is a privileged one. They've already taken full control over the site right here. We're gonna see the push coming in forward. Magic goes in, gets one. That's JS Feldner Horizon with the kill on Tyra.
What?
And then what happened right there? No shots being fired off at all. We're gonna see that HE Fiend able to get the kill on Lost with the no scope. And we have a little bit of time left on the clock, but Magic is of course gonna try to go in and deteriorate as much as he can. We have a tied game, Roy, as Taben puts Fiend down, and this is definitely one of the closest games we've seen up until this moment, even a little bit more than I would dare say Homino against Mystic, because now Mythic rather, and now this is, I mean, this is completely tied up. We saw very good play from both of these teams, but in the end it was just a couple of sloppy mistakes that really ended up giving Revenge Nation a bit of an edge that they needed in order to be able to win that last round after a 5-round drought.
Yeah, I mean, it was something to say the least. I mean, Revenge Nation getting to make one final statement now, though they're gonna have to play on CT. However, if In Control could do it, why can't they do much of the same? Well, let's see if that same decisiveness, sorry, I cannot speak today, that went into the the strategy portion of this whole ordeal is going to be showing itself also to the same department, but on a different side. It seems like Revenge Nation, so far, so good for them, at the very least fragging, but let's not forget about it. In Control, they were so good at retakes as well, so I am expecting this defense to be tough to deal with here for Revenge Nation. However, Fiend, if you're not hitting your shots, I don't know what to tell you, man. And running out of bullets. Oh, the assist right there as well. And look at Fiend go. Oh my goodness, this man is trying to play them like a fiddle. Mason right there with the coverage at a distance. Oh my goodness. I mean, the 1-2 punch is right there. Right hook, left hook, and then you are on the floor. Revenge Nation found out in quite a tough way. Well, just what In Control were kind of cooking over there. So it looks like Revenge Nation, in spite of delivering the final blow for the first half of this map, they're not going to get to start with the same impetus. And the problem here is that, well, In Control not only have T side, but also they're going to be starting a little bit ahead. And, well, it's like a Achilles and a tortoise, I guess. And it doesn't matter how fast you go if you are ahead. For the time being, a little bit ahead, find themselves In Control, but that could still swing around in just a few more rounds, I want to say. But as it seems like Revenge Nation, well, they're not gonna get much of a chance to do much at all this round.
Yep, and there we go. We actually see Fiend go in, get the kill on Horizon. Not only that, but it seems like he's going to get one more. Yes, he does. Actually switch up to the Siren, but then Mason with the coverage. Mason gets one more on Taben. And this is definitely going to be a bit of a manhunt right here for Evan, the last remaining player, because they want to cripple them as much as they can and get that sweet cash. We actually see J.S. Feltner right here with the Mac 10 and just going to go in, yep, directly for it. And he gets a good amount of money. And I mean, man, Roy, you know for a fact that these players really try to optimize every single point of their play. And it's really just what's been the name of the game for them at this point, optimizing their play. We saw within the pistol round here, within the second half, that it was just the positioning that they were in. You got Mason all the way towards the side of the pillar within the sights, and then who was it? If I recall correctly, it was Fiend, the one that was just below the walk inside of it. So it was just so good right there that they had little to no opportunity, because either they took care of the player that was below plateau, or you took care of the player that was all the way near main on the A side. So it was definitely a rough one. And now we're gonna head in towards, oh my god, Taven got the headshot for one, but that's the problem with the M4A1S, man. You gotta make sure that you hit those headshots, but I mean, you gotta make sure you get one more, because those don't kill.
Oh man, and Dylan, I thought that for sure he had the second one as well. Evan gonna get the last laugh on that one. However, I don't know if he's gonna get the last laugh on this round. This is quite lit up, but at the very least, he does have magic towards the other side. I love that coverage being shown right there, not trying to expose too much Keen. And of course, Mason at a moment's notice is gonna turn around and light up whatever was left of Revenge Nation's hopes and dreams at getting that retake. The time was of the essence, so I don't blame them for just perhaps being a little louder than expected as they were approaching. But nonetheless, it seems like In Control are looking pristine to reach those double digits fast enough. And well, problem here for Revenge Nation is going to be economy control further down the line. I mean, if you cannot start off with the right foot, then you have to make up for it somehow. And unfortunately here, the sole M4 remaining is going to be in the hands of Evan, saved from that well, failed approach at the end of our of our round number 15. Incontrol should have a breeze onto this one. However, it seems like Revenge Nation are getting rather aggressive. Look at Magic go. Mason, are you ready for that? Mason was absolutely so. We also have J.S. Feltner on the other end. Mason continues to deliver, and even though J.S. Feltner is going to end up falling, the call out was right there, and Mason ends up cleaning out everybody. There is just no escape.
Oh man, there was any player that you could have taken right there. It could have probably been anybody, but you chose the top fragger. Mason closing it out with the perfect ace, making sure that In Control within double digits really plays for that namesake and says, hey, you thought that even though you started off winning, that we weren't gonna claim control of this again? Nah, big dog, try again. Especially after just a great ace that we saw right there from Mason. Definitely the MVP of this map, Roy. Now, take this into consideration. We had not seen them play on the T side, but it's definitely the side that they felt the most comfortable as of this moment. Are we gonna see somebody right there? No, we do not. We're gonna see the smoke. Do we see somebody? Maybe he's actually pointing towards the boost, and we're gonna see the advance coming in right here from the T side. The smokes, everything being thrown off right there. And even though that smoke really helps out in some occasion, we see him cross by and just lost with a perfect understanding of where he has to be. But Mason getting the kill on Taven as well. That's super good. But then Magic claims the life of Mason, and that's a top fragger out, Roy. And this is definitely a good situation coming in for Revenge Nation.
Oh yeah, I mean, they can handle this with a 2-2 split, no problem whatsoever. So it's really gonna come down to how do In Control want to use whatever little util they have left. I mean, we saw Revenge Nation. They are no strangers to just sitting this one out. It looks like the scout is going to be right there. J.S. Feldner, unfortunately, going to end up dropping, and Horizon is going to drop one more name as well, as Fiend does end up biting the dust too. Dylan, I mean, he is going to try for it, and I know that his team, I mean, they've got a little bit of leeway that they could be taken from, but nonetheless, sorry, it seems like, well, Revenge Nation, they have finally got their chance to strike. Still not too far away from trying to catch up, but we're gonna need to see more of where that came from, to say the least. As In Control, they are just as far away from Revenge Nation as they are from victory, and that is saying something like that.
Oh yeah, that's definitely saying something, man. And I just really like to see how these teams end up playing towards the end, because it's so different from what they started off playing off first, right? Because right now Revenge Nation is playing this with little to no respect overall, because look at this. Like, at first they had understood, like, okay, yeah, you guys are really good, and hi, Taven just making sure that Tyra doesn't have a bit of an opportunity to even try to prey on his teammate. Evan does go down though, and that's within the hands of J.S. Feltner. We do have two players here within the B site, or at least we had them, because now we see one of them go down. Fiend gets the kill on Magic. He knows exactly where he is. He goes in, gets a shot. And now there's definitely a rough one, but Feltner, great stuff, recognizing that Horizon was making just a little bit too much noise. And not only that, man, I was about to say they have enough time to maybe be able to rotate or something like that, but no, bomb is right smack in the middle of the site. Ooh.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. This is why they're going for that split player, right? Like, they know that they have to go in for the kill at that point. They know exactly where they are being expected, and that the bomb is right there. I mean, the Revenge Nation tried to make a heroic effort in fending off the approaches, but unfortunately not gonna quite pan out their way. And I have to say, a beautiful way in which In Control are able to abuse their numbers a little bit to go for the traits, and also the awareness there from J.S. Feldner, just making sure that he not only had his eye towards Control, but also perhaps somebody decides to get a little too aggressive from the back, then he's got it covered as well. So no harm, no foul there for the T's. A little bit of harm did come the way of Magic, who was sporting the Solve Mass, and I have to say, quite a bit more was to follow as Tyra ends up claiming his life. In Control, not wanting to let this one drop to the floor once again, so they're gonna let it right there. Evan, though, showing up the trigger finger, and that is J.S. Feldner's AK. That is gonna end up on a very different pair of hands. B was wide open, but in the meantime, Lost, it seems like he is gonna decide to take the long way around from the cave side. See if I can call out anything, but in Control, they make their right call, making their way towards B, and this should all be done and dusted. And as far as things are concerned, well, problem for Revenge Nation is that In Control are about to secure themselves a very nice 12 on the scoreline.
Yeah, I definitely agree right here that they're doing this so well. Oh, Tabin getting the kill on Mason all the way from far behind. Lost is now out of contention. Tabin, though, still...
Oh, man.
Hi, Papa, no mami. No mami. How do you do that? What a crisp aim, the one that he just
nasty.
turned around. That was absolutely obscene. Yes, thank you, production.
nasty.
Give me a replay on that because that was so good. So good. Just goes in, and then we see them pop, and then Tabin's like, okay, the one right here, and then boom. Ándale, güey. Oh, sabroso, cabrón. Wow.
That was delicious, absolutely. I mean, a crucial round too. I mean, I was already ready to call it In Control. Already gonna hit that 12, but no, it seems like they have very different plans. And I mean, Taven just looking so crisp for a hot second. Let's see if they can keep that trend going. Immediately In Control are gonna let rip off the smokes. While they are setting things up, it seems like, ooh, Pressure Force Boat is not gonna go as expected and tries to welcome the challenge. Horizon tries to retreat, ends up falling into the same bullets that ended up dropping his teammate, and trying to force a trade right there. J.S. Feldner ends up only getting quite a bit of damage, so Lost making up for, ironically enough, the lost grounds towards the other side of the map. But here comes the interception on the rotation. Take a look at that. As it is Tyra who is trying to block anybody to make a free way, while, of course, Mason is gonna try and make it all the way in towards A. Fiend manages to come out on top, but Magic immediately with the answer back, not gonna let that info go to waste. 2-on-2 once again, a little bit of a careless drop in that position is gonna let Magic out of the picture, and it is Evan with a single AK. I mean, we've seen the magic that Revenge Nation can work with a single AK, right? But I don't know if this is the time to really try and drop whatever you have left, right, for a real fighting chance at perhaps trying to extend this map number 1 past regulation. Because, well, seems like they were claiming for that number 12 after all.
And in the end, it really didn't work out too well for them, because now In Control really feeling themselves after this round. Because, I mean, you saw Evan save up that AK-47 because he knew for a fact that this round wasn't going to look too bright regarding the numbers, right? The economy that Revenge Nation currently has. As In Control is feeling comfortable, yes, but not the best in the world right now. One round away from separating them from clear victory. But I do have to say that they have been struggling at this point, Roy. And I do want to bring that into contention right here, into consideration. No,
what?
So how did you miss him? Barely missing him off right there. And that HE not really going to help him out either, because now a lot of these players are lit up. And whenever you're against the CT side, you know for a fact that those headshots with the M4A1S can really be the saving grace. But now, can't really bank on those either.
Yeah, I know. Excellent job there by In Control, and just, I mean, in spite of them getting quite lit up, and we've already seen it, they still aren't gonna use their numbers, but Evan is gonna find a nice little spray. Dylan ends up falling to the headshot. Fiend, though, is there to claim a little bit of revenge, and it seems like In Control have managed to sneasel their way through towards B. Revenge Nation, this is do or die, sorry. Crunch time is right here.
Yep, I'm gonna see the swing right there from Horizon.
Ooh.
It's not gonna work out. Oh, bullets are, but yeah, I was about to say bullets are about to end up right there. I'm gonna see him. Yep, that's Horizon. Magic's still alive though. Gonna go in with the flash. Actually turns around, correct moment. Yep, perfect stuff. That's gonna allow him to go in with the 2v1. Oh, he misses a shot. Unfortunate stuff right there coming in from Tabin. He's little to no time. He does have a kit though. Is he gonna try to go in for the ninja defuse? I don't think so. I don't think that's gonna be the case. Actually goes back right there. Oh, but Fiend says no, senor, not gonna let that happen. And that rusty knife really shows the combat experience that this team has. Incontrol claiming that first round, and not only that, but claiming the momentum coming forward right here within this map. We're gonna go ahead and head towards Dust 2, and what do we say about Dust 2, Roy? I mean, it's an old map, really not much new things that you can do within it.
I mean, I have to agree that, well, perhaps not exactly going to be a surprising sight. However, I mean, nonetheless, that does open the opportunity for a bit of a clap back. In Control looking, I mean, decisive in the way that they